reconvening the 5 o'clock meeting of the Board of Trustees here in the boardroom. We've been in closed session. There was no action taken in closed session. No votes were taken in closed session. It's now 6:06 for open. The McAllen Independent School District is a multicultural community in which students are enthusiastically and actively engaged in the learning process. Students demonstrate academic excellence in a safe and nurturing and challenging environment enhanced by technology and the contributions of the total community. This is the vision of the McAllen Board of Trustees and vision of the school district, and it has been standing since 1999. We'll now proceed to item 4, which is the invocation. Trustee Alvarado will lead us in the invocation.
Dear God, we have come together in your name to work for the good of our schools. Stay with us in your invisible presence and pour your spirits upon us. Make us your gifts in a spirit of trust and guidance and a spirit of prudence and understanding, so that the children of our district may experience abundance of learning, compassion, and peace. Let harmony reign among us, and let us keep our eyes ever fixed on you. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Well, now, Mr. Trustee Suarez will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. We'll now proceed on the agenda item 6, but before we do, we'd like to welcome everybody that's here present this afternoon, and especially those that are in our audience that are on the mobile devices or on their computers that may be watching this board in session. Item 6A, recognition of advanced placement scholars. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Tonight we recognize our students who scored a 3, 4, or 5 on 3 or more advanced placement exams. This year we have 171 AP scholars being recognized for this achievement. Let's give them a round of applause. Also like to take this opportunity to thank all the parents for being here, grandparents, uncles, aunts, friends, and family. Thank you all so much, because we know that our AP scholars worked very hard for this accomplishment, and we know it's not easy. So that team effort, that family unit that you all bring to the table is greatly appreciated. So on behalf of the district, thank you very much. And I have Ms. Karen Nitsch that's here to give us a little more information.
Good evening, Dr. Gonzalez, President Saldivad, and members of the board. On behalf of McAllen ISD, I'd like to present our 171 AP scholars. That represents approximately 9% of the students, of the AP participants earning an AP scholar designation. There's no monetary award from the College Board for the students' honors. The students are acknowledged on reports and applications that are sent to colleges and universities. And this acknowledgement allows students to stand out among their peers as academically accomplished students and can earn students academic scholarships and acceptance at state or national prestigious universities. The College Board research shows that AP students who score 3 or higher on AP exams can experience greater academic success in college and higher graduation rates than those who do not. What I'd like to announce to the community and to parents is to remember that when you score 3, 4, or 5, that's a placement in an advanced course in college. So not necessarily did you pass or fail the AP exam, it just means that you've earned that privilege of being able to skip a course while in college. So at this time, we'd like to go ahead and begin with our students. From Achieve Early College High School, we have our AP scholar, Zunab Al-Helfi, and Stephen Delgado, Juan Olivares, Hector Ortiz Hernandez, Cassidy Peña, and Adriana Sanchez. We have... That is correct. Okay. So we have quite a few to get through for Mac High, and so I'm going to go through the list.
Are we taking pictures?
We're not going to take pictures. We already took pictures, but as soon as we get all the AP scholars up here, I think maybe we could take one picture. And then, yeah, we'll see if we can squeeze. Well, we're going to take, that would be a lot of pictures. Okay.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so I think that this is not exactly, let's see. Okay, we have from Mac High, we have, and I'm just going to go through the list. Patricio Barredo, Victoria Billman, Paige Buell, Brianna Bouillon, Jared Caluza, Amanda Cantu, Donato Clemente, Ernesto Contreras, Ulia Dolor, Eddie Favata, Frederick Forthuber, Benjamin Garza, Roy Gonzalez, Michael M. Guerra, Jacob Handy, Sabrina Hodge, Laurel Ledesma, Brianna Margot, Hillary Martinez, Ackland Mahana, Crystal Ong, Dakota Pantoja, Rick Pequeño, Karen Ramirez, Loretta Rodriguez, that's Karen and Loretta, Alondra Ruiz, Eddie Ruiz, Monica Sandoval, Leah Sewell, Tammy Smith, John Alexander Stephen, Rodolfo Valdez, Madeline West, and Michelle Zambrano. Okay, I knew that list was wrong because not a single student was highlighted. Okay, on the next list.
Some of them are seniors.
Yes, some are seniors. Yeah. Yes. In fact, in the memorial group, we have one student who is with us through a poster. So do we have that one? Arma Sundays? Okay. So the next... Okay, send that up because he's going to march in.
His world's upside down right now.
Okay, so we'll have to... When I call his name, somebody will bring it in. Okay, so AP Scholars at Memorial, we have Sarah Aleman. Adeline Barrios. Preston Burkett. Luis Cárdenas. Andrea Cruz, Osiel De Leon, Cruz, Osiel De Leon, Sergio Dominguez. You're in the next group. Hensedat Esparza. Angela Garcia, Daniela Garcia, Isabella Gutierrez, Calvin Martinez, Michael E. Mata, Sitlali Medrano, Kinda Najas, next. Gladys Pedraza, Jose Miguel Pineda, Bonnie Rankin, Marian Cifuentes, Armis Sunday, Tavian Talamantes, this is about a third of the McAllen Memorial Group. So the rest have either left for college or out right now. So let's give Memorial a round of applause. Do we still have room for Roe? Okay. So at Roe High School, we have Nick Aguilardo. Jesus Cruz. Stephanie Fran. Jonathan Galvan. Brittany Hosbeck. Norisha Cueco. Ricardo Salmons. And Katarina Tay. Okay, so I think we could take a picture of the AP. These are AP Scholar. These students took 3 AP exams and scored 3 or higher on all 3 exams.
In the front. Yeah,
just AP Scholar. Y'all can just stand on up to flank them? Yes. If you could just squeeze in.
Can we hold on this also?
From which campus?
Everybody might not have.
Yeah. We haven't done this yet. At the very end. Yes.
Can you guys scoot in just a little bit, like squeeze in maybe? And just look right here, everybody, and smile. 1, 2, 3.
All right, don't move, let mom and dad take pictures now. Y'all can move up if you'd like to.
Okay, so we're going to let the parents take 1 or 2 last few pictures, and we want to congratulate all the parents of the AP Scholars. This group of students performed remarkably well. This is a majority of the juniors and some seniors, and so we're very, very thrilled to have such a large group today. So this group, thank you so much, and y'all can leave. let's get the next group. Okay, so our next group, I'm ready. AP Scholar with the AP Scholar. Okay, the AP Scholar with Honor is the next category. These students scored at least a 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more AP exams. So from our first group, we have from Achieve Early College High School, Pedro Rodriguez. From McAllen High School, we have Jose Berumen. We have from Mac High, Taylor Helmkamp.
Congratulations, have a great year.
From Memorial, we have Sabrina Benitez. Aaron Garza. From Rowe High School, we have Ayana Delias. So that was our AP Scholar with Honor group, and I'll go ahead and call in our AP Scholar with Distinction group. These students scored at least a 3.5 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. So we had, in the last AP Scholar with Honor group, we had 20 students that received that distinction. In this group, we have 18. We won't have 18 tonight. From Mac High, we have Aaron McGilvery. We have Gabriel Ramirez. From Memorial, we have Calvin Beck. From James Nicky Rowe High School, we have Sofia Escobar. Ruben Garza. Michael Ibanez, also from Rowe High School. Okay, and then we have from Memorial High School, we have Adeline Barrios. Okay, then in our last group, we have one National AP Scholar. I'm not sure if she's here, but this student earned scores of 4 or higher on 8 or more of these exams, and that is Julia Billman. Is she here today? Okay, so I'd like to go ahead and include the principals and AP coordinators, if I can, in this group. We have Ms. Lisa Eddy, who works with the Memorial High School AP group. We have Mr. Alvarez, who works also at Memorial. Principal. We have Cindy Pena, principal at Lamar Academy. And her students may be IB students or option students, but they also participate in AP. Are there any other principals here? Okay, so we'll take one picture.
Also move around in a second.
The students can come forward, and then we can, or the principal, no, okay.
Can you guys move even, can you come down on that? Can you please switch
Yes.
Adeline? Can you switch with her behind her? And can you switch with behind Can you switch with her? And can you move closer? Can you move closer? And then Dr. Gonzalez, step up. There. Okay. All right, everybody smile, please. 1, 2, 3. Parents, please take a picture.
Parents, thank you all very much for your support. It takes a lot of time and effort on their part, and I know you're there for them, so congratulations to all of you.
I want to say one last thing about the numbers.
Congratulations, you have a fantastic year. You're off to a great start.
Yes. Congratulations.
Glad to see you. You look great.
How you all doing? Good to see you. Have a great one.
Next item.
Yes, sir. I got
You want to, was it read that?
We're now moving on item 6B, recognition of the McAllen Houston Dynamo South Texas Girls Under 17 Team Soccer Championship. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. This evening, we are recognizing McAllen ISD students who are part of the McAllen Houston Dynamo South Texas Championship soccer team. And I now turn the floor over to Dr. Barrera and Coach Paula Gonzalez for the presentation.
Yes, sir, and good evening. And we're proud to announce today that we have the McAllen Houston Dynamo South Texas GU17 team is here being recognized for winning the national championship in soccer. They started their National Cup playing in Nevada. The team would have to rebound after competing with Nevada and in a win to win the game 4-0. The next day, the team faced a Missouri team. The game ended in a tie with a score of 2-2. McAllen ISD had 3 defensive players that were crucial during the tournament. Veronica Dowry, Emily Morin, both starting varsity players from Rowe High School, and Miranda Munoz, varsity player from Mac High. The girls fought hard against the Nevada team, keeping them scoreless to score the championship title, in which they beat the Nevada team 3-0. Congratulations to this phenomenal team. I'd go ahead and announce these. We have Emily Morin here, Veronica Daughtery, please raise your hand there. Miranda Munoz, there we go. Mia Munoz, and Weston Henderson. Congratulations.
To say a few words about them, I would like their longtime coach of the Dynamos, Coach Gary, to come up and say a few words. Coach.
Well, thank you very much. Again, it's another great honour, especially for the girls who belong to the McAllen ISD. I think it's fantastic, and congratulations, girls. I think you all know, though, it's a soccer team, it's a soccer game, and it took a whole team to do this. The other school districts are doing their thing, we're doing our thing for our girls, and it's great because actually the trophy and all the big cups that are the real mementos of everything we've done all stay in the office in McAllen, so that's a good thing as well. These girls have a long way to go. They're still very young, even though the U17s, we only had one U17 girl on the team. All the rest of the girls were younger, even as far as the young one here, who's just gotten out of 8th grade. So I think the achievement in itself, even though we've not made that hugely public, because we didn't want to embarrass all the teams from Nevada and Missouri and stuff like that even more, that they actually compete with younger kids than they thought they were actually playing. The stories I actually did embarrass them, but I won't go into that. But again, thank you very much to the McAllen ISD. We appreciate everything. Thanks for honouring the girls, and hopefully we can bring some more successes back to the city. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, no problem. You must get paid a lot of money.
Also, we want to recognize the parents. I know y'all put a lot of time and money traveling
Forgot you, sorry.
from the regional tournament. No, it's okay. So y'all please stand so we can recognize y'all. On the girls, but we expect them to take their teams, respective teams, McAllen in a row to deep in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, pressure's on them now.
Right.
I'm going to stand by.
Ethan's taking credit. I mean, that's what it sounds
Emily
like.
was on my team when she was 5. Vetta wanted to, but I said no.
All right. Smile, guys. 1, 2, 3. Great.
Hey, don't compare.
Thank you to the parents for continuing to support the students. Athletics plays a big part in their academics, so for us, it's a win-win. So appreciate you being involved and the contributions you've made to the school district in support of your students here at McAllen ISD. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great year. Congratulations. Don't do it, because I'll get you in trouble.
Hey, how many times have you been Exactly. Thank you. You're the best athlete. Tell me what's happening in your family. Thank you, Tony.
Just trying to keep it
Once again, congratulations to the AP Advanced Placement Scholars for the McAllen ISD. Those are individuals that scored 3, 4, or 5 on their placement tests. And also congratulations to the McAllen Houston Dynamo South Texas girls team. Many of the young ladies play for over 50% must be from McAllen in order to be recognized by the Board of Trustees. We had represented today a small group of that number that are part of that team. So congratulations to them as well and to their parents. We'll now proceed to item 7, board members, board committee, and district reports. These are board committee reports, starting with A1, instructional services briefing. Chairs, Trustee Fortin.
Thank you, Mr. Salivar. A couple of things that we've got coming up on our agenda tonight. We have 9 items for approval, ranging from the data management purchase for assessment and curriculum, the DMAC online program, the interlocal cooperative agreement, 2016-18 Region 189 Purchasing Cooperative, General Interlocal Membership for Special Service Projects, Child Nutrition, and Library Cooperatives, and reporting of management fees. The approval of Sole Source number 2016-11 Professional Services Materials 90 and fees through the College Board. The approval of Sole Source Purchase number 2016-25 Read 180 and Next 106 Generation Version, Technical Support, Instructional Resources, and Professional Development from Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. Plus, we are also going to look for approval of Sole Source Purchase number 2015-30 Voyager Sopris 138 from Learning Incorporated Materials and Professional Development for Dyslexia. Approval between MISD and 145 communities and schools of Hidalgo County Incorporated. Approval of the Interlocal Cooperative Agreement number 2016-32 Language 161 learners at the University of Texas at Austin Center for Hispanic Achievement, also known as LUCHA. Approval of the Interlocal Cooperative Agreement number 2016-36 Texas 166 Curriculum Management Program Cooperative TEACS resource, and the approval of Interlocal Cooperative Agreement number 2016-21 University 177 of Texas at Austin On-Ramps program. And that's what we have on our agenda for tonight, sir.
Thank you, Trustee Fortin, for your report. We'll now proceed to item 7A2, business operations. The chair is Trustee Suarez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Trustee Danny Vela and myself with Ms. Garcia met on Friday morning. It's good to know that we no longer serve expired yogurt at our meetings. We did discuss 5 items, which will be discussed today. Primarily, a lot of the morning was taken up by looking over a property value study. The other additional items that will be brought before us are routine items that are brought during this time of the year. That's it for the committee report.
Thank you, Trustee Suarez. We'll now proceed to item 7A3, district operations briefing. The chair is Trustee Alvarado.
Thank you, Mr. President. On August 3rd, the District Operation Policy Subcommittee met. Dr. Barrera, Mr. Miller, Mr. Krause, myself, and Trustee Ball were present. Also, Mario Reyna was also there. Mr. Reyna talked about the upcoming rally for kids that we're going to have at the stadium. That's coming up in September, if I'm not mistaken, sir?
10th.
September 10th. And we're moving it from De Leon to the stadium, so we'll have more on that later. Also, Mr. Krause and Mr. Miller walked us through changes to policy DNA, DNB local, and regulations in regards to performance appraisal teachers and other professionals. The changes follow along state mandates and also include the components in the new evaluation instruments. We had several items, district operations. One involves land sale involving Folsom and Hendricks. And this is to make room for the Ware Road expansion. 5 items, renew items from transportation, child nutrition departments are also needed as we begin the new school year. Also, later in today's meeting, we're going to have an update on row construction and memorial. And the final item that we discussed just happened a little while ago. We recognized the national champions, McAllen Houston Dynamo team. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Alvarado. We'll now go to 7A4, human resource briefing. The chair is Trustee Vela.
We had a meeting Friday with Mr. Miller, and then we had a subsequent meeting with Mr. Siebler later that afternoon. We will be bringing forth the medical dental plans, and we'll also be bringing forth proposal for a pharmacy benefit manager for the district. We're also bringing a slew of recommendations from administration for assistant principals at some of the various middle schools and elementary schools. We're also bringing 2 central administration positions. One would be the assistant superintendent for instructional services, and administration has a recommendation on that. And we're also bringing forth the associate superintendent for instructional leadership, and they will be bringing forth a recommendation for those. We've gone over the committee process to recommend these for the board this evening, and I think that was it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Vela. We'll now proceed to item 7B, district reports. B1, report upgrade regarding the row special systems upgrade in the Memorial High School Stadium turf. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. This evening, we bring an update about the construction work in progress at Rowe and Memorial High Schools, and Dr. Barrera and Ruben Trevino are here to provide us with an update.
Yes, sir, and good evening, everybody. I've got Mr. Trevino here to talk a little bit. This is aside from our routine that we usually do. You'll get a complete report on all the projects going on in the district at our next meeting. We wanted to specifically address these 2, which is the road special systems and the upgrades going on there, and the memorial turf. So with that in mind, I'll go ahead and give you a glimpse of and turn it over to Mr. Trevino and let him say a few words.
Good afternoon, Dr. Gonzalez, board members. Over at the Rowe, the project for the Rowe Special Systems started on Saturday, May 28th. That was the start date for that project. So far, we're about 98% complete. We have one of the final fire alarm tests being done tomorrow by the McAllen Fire Department. We've got half engineering that walked the part of the school today. They'll be providing us with a final punch list on Wednesday. And right now, we are planning on hopefully taking over the building on Thursday of this week so that we can already move in Thursday and Friday. That's on the road on special systems upgrade.
Yes, sir, Mr.
What was the completion date slated for? You start on May 28th, and school would just over...
May 28th, the partial substantial completion date is for the 15th, which is this coming Monday. And the contractor's running probably about 5-6 days early.
Early. Okay.
Yes.
And so we're walking through the picture, so just so we can kind of see, we replaced the tile on the roof, the lighting.
The project entailed the complete fire alarm system for the whole school, the whole campus.
PA system.
The whole intercom system, fire sprinkler, including auditorium, and every building within the school.
And ceiling tiles.
And
Ceiling
brand new
tiles.
ceiling tiles in all the corridors.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
And grid.
Mr. Footing.
Ruben, if you wouldn't mind going into more detail about the removal of every single ceiling tile there in order to get to the necessary wires and light fixtures that we fixed.
Yes, I mean, the Holchamont LTD has done a remarkable job out there. I mean, they've gone through the whole campus, removed, as you can see in some of the pictures, complete everything. I mean, gutted out all the ceilings in all the corridors, cafeteria, band hall, choir hall, athletic areas, everywhere was completely gutted and completely redone back with all the new infrastructure that goes up there.
Now, the main hallways are all going to get the new ceiling tiles, but those within the classroom, those were removed, the work was done, and those tiles were put back, right?
Yes.
May I piggyback off his question?
Yes, sir, Trustee Alvarado.
So I'm just going to point blank at tell you some of the comments I've heard that because the school's not ready yet and the teachers haven't been able to go in, and some people have said we should have planned better. But my response to them, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that this is a massive project, and to complete in this amount of time is actually kind of remarkable. And we really don't have any other time when to do this. And if we allow people in the school a little early, it might slow the process down. Is that correct?
Correct. And we've been working real close with Mr. Paz Elizondo and the staff over. We went through pre-registration last week. We're going through the trainings and everything that's going on. We were able to accommodate them at FMO. We also have most of the staff reporting to Lincoln. We're splitting up the gyms over at Lincoln. And everybody has been, doing a great job as far as being able to, register and guide the parents and, get everything going to make it as normal as possible.
Right.
But yes, you are correct. A project of this magnitude, there's no other way to do it but in the summertime.
Okay. And the students, if I'm not, because I was at that school not last week, the band is at Lincoln, the volleyball is at Fossum. I mean, everyone's being taken care of.
Everything was scheduled prior.
Dr. Gonzalez, have you heard anything from any teachers, any concerns, or anybody in the community?
Not up to this point. I know that Mr. Elizondo is very complimentary of how the schools are working with them, and it does cause movement and change, but the kids are resilient, and they're able to follow through with what we're asking them to do. So we're excited about the great work that's going on, but we're even more proud of the teamwork that's occurring.
Okay, and one of the things we discussed in our policy committee with Mr. Ball was that sometimes probably the committee doesn't know what we're doing. So I think y'all came up with the idea of future projects having signs similar to what Sid McAllen does, saying this is what's going on in this particular area. Because from the outside, it doesn't look like we're doing much, but if you walked inside, it was at one point, to Mr. Forina's point, to see that whole roof down and wires running anywhere. I was thinking there's no way we're going to finish by this time, but we are. So, and I appreciate y'all putting on this, because I know people are concerned, are we going to be ready? Is road going to be ready for the students come August 22nd? But it doesn't sound like we have any issues, right?
We'll be ready.
Awesome.
We'll be ready.
I would like to add and piggyback on Mr. Alvarado, and I think that it's important for us to educate our community in what we've done, because a lot of these students and teachers are going to go in there and they're not going to understand what was done, because to them, ceiling tile is not a new building. It's not, it's not painted a different color. The lockers are still there. It's important for them to understand the upgrades that we did, that now it's a safe environment, and now we do have a fire system that works, and we do have intercoms that we didn't have. And a lot of times people don't understand that, because they're thinking, oh man, we're going to walk into a brand new school, and although there's been upgrades, we need to educate our community that that's what was done there. If not, people are going to say, man, we were out for such a long time and nothing was done. So
if you don't mind, Mr. Suarez, if I can just add,
for 2 seconds only.
the roof project, is that started, or that's going to be ongoing this year?
The company has mobilized already.
Okay.
Containers and some of the storage containers are on site, and they're waiting for materials to get delivered, but they've already started on it.
And if you don't mind, I mean, that's where we hopefully have something, a sign saying what we're doing with the roof, right? Okay, perfect. That's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you.
Any other comment? Are we getting, the city has already signed off for occupancy back in? Were they required to sign off once we did all this
I
work?
met with the city fire marshal last week. We had several meetings, and right now we're just waiting for the fire alarm test tomorrow, and then the city will be able to give us our certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
Yes.
And again, the comments were already mentioned. What was done was the ceiling inside was removed throughout, and we put complete sprinkler systems, with complete fire alarm system, complete rewiring of the intercom system throughout. In addition to those three items, there was a fourth additional item, if memory serves.
It was the fire sprinkler, fire alarm, intercom, and ceilings and ceiling grid.
And the ceiling grids themselves.
Yes.
Excellent. And that took you how long to plan before you executed that plan? When did you?
The whole, 8-9 months before prior.
Yeah. And so the board had already approved this last year, way last year.
Yes.
Okay. It just, the scheduling had to be in the summer. It was the only time it could be done.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other comments from the board?
No.
All right. Thank you very much for all your, yes?
We're moving on to the memorial turf.
Ahí hay más.
The other part is an update on Memorial. This is the turf project. This project got started on June 24th. The construction timeline on it is a 90-day construction window. As of today, we're about 97 to 98% on it. Pretty much on the field. We're ready to walk the field tomorrow with our civil engineer and the contractor to go ahead and give us a substantial completion so that we're able to use the field. Hopefully by Wednesday, we should be pretty much almost complete on the turf portion of it. And on that one, substantial completion on that one is scheduled for September 21st, but we've had good construction weather, I'd say, so they have progressed pretty rapidly on this project.
Excellent. Any comments from the trustees?
Yes, just a couple. So I'm going to backtrack a little. When Rowe Field, because it relates to Memorial, when that was initially passed by the board, that was March of 2015, prior to myself or Mr. Flinney and Mr. Suarez coming on the board. There was 1.3, 1.4 allocated for Rowe for the turf and the lights. At that point, we took it back. We took some time. We saw that maybe we could save some money, and the Rowe Field was done at a cost at $700,000, somewhere around there. Okay. And then we decided not to do the lights at Rowe, and then in return we decided to put the turf at Memorial. So it's taken a while, but we paused because we wanted to make sure we got savings. I think this field, it was substantially cheaper than I've seen more fields are inexpensive.
We're going to say less expensive.
Less expensive, I'm sorry. Cheaper is not the word.
The same.
The quality is
Yeah,
actually
quality is the same.
fantastic. I used the wrong word. Thank you, Mr. Trustee Suarez. It's important because someone had asked me, why are we putting a priority on turf fields? And I said, well, no, it was there when we came on. We took our time to try to maximize the money that we had, the few limited money. And the reason this is so critical is that we don't have fields in our middle schools. Edinburgh has them, PSJ has them, other school districts surrounding us had middle school fields. So when those kids play, they play there. Our kids play at our high schools. So about halfway through the season, in football season, the field's torn up. And it's torn up just because of the number, not for what we do, just the number of kids that are on there, the football, the PE, everyone that uses it. So now, in a way, we don't have to invest in middle school stadiums in order for kids to play. They can play in a safe venue, safe environment. So I do want to thank you for that, because I know there's been some, why are you making this party? It's not, it was a party because it was a safety issue, but it's been on there for a while. And Mr. Firmino, I know you worked really hard, because we use Hellas at Rowe and we use field turf here, and they were substantially lower on both incidents. So that's kudos to you for getting that at that price. That's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you, Trustee Alvarado. Any other comments from the board regarding Memorial? All right, we'll proceed with your presentation, if you would.
That was it?
This concludes our presentation of the report regarding the special systems and the turf.
Thank you, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Bada and Mr. Thurvey.
Thank you.
Good job, Dr. B.
We'll now proceed to B2, report regarding taxes collected for May 2016. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Ms. Garcia will be presenting the report regarding the monthly taxes collected by the Hidalgo County Tax Office on behalf of McAllen ISD for May 2016, and this item is for information only. Ms. Garcia.
Good evening. The report is included in your packet, and on there, as you can see, the original tax levy was almost $73 million for the 2015 tax roll, and for the delinquent tax items is $6.2 million. Collection percentage to date for the period ending in May 2016 is 95.74% for the 2015 tax roll and 32.08% for the delinquent tax collection. Total amount collected for this period was $508,000. This item is for information purposes.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Any questions from the trustees? Hearing none, we'll proceed to item B3, report regarding the tax collected for June 2016. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Ms. Garcia is also here. She'll be discussing this item with us as well with regard to the report regarding monthly taxes collected by the Hidalgo County Tax Office on behalf of McAllen ISD for June 2016.
For the period of June 2016, the collections to date in the 2015 tax roll is $70,400,000. And for delinquent tax collection is $1.969 million. The percentage of collections for the current taxes is 96.43, which was very close to what was collected in the 14-15 time period. And as far as the goal for the delinquent tax collections, it's 33.52, and the firm has met their goal.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Trustees, any questions?
No, sir.
Hearing none, we'll proceed on 7B4. This is a report regarding delinquent tax collections for the period of July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2016. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Kelly R. Salazar from the firm of Lionbarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson, LLP, will present the annual delinquent tax collection report for the 2015-2016 school year. Welcome, Ms. Salazar.
Good evening.
Good evening. Whenever you're ready.
Setting up a little bit.
Okay.
And while we're waiting for that, would the board be in objection? And if not, I need a motion to reorganize the agenda for 9D2 and moving that right after this presentation.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Suarez to reorganize the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Alvarado. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. We're voting on moving it up.
Moving it up, that's all we're doing. So we're reorganizing the agenda by moving 9D2 to as soon as this presentation is done and before we go to item 8 on the agenda, which is actions and items in closed session. That is the motion before us. Any discussion? Hearing none, ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motions have it 5-0. We'll reorganize the agenda. 9D2 will come before 8 after the delinquent tax report by Ms. Salazar. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, President Saldivar. Good evening, Dr. Gonzalez and members of the board. I'm Kelly Salazar here to present our delinquent tax collection report for the period of July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2016. As always, our delinquent tax collection program on behalf of the district focuses on two basic premises. The first is to work with the individual delinquent taxpayer to collect the delinquent taxes owed, and secondly, use the tool of litigation only as a final option to collect. During this reporting period, 6 mailings were completed, targeting accounts representing an average of approximately $862,361 in delinquent taxes, penalty, and interest. We had over 6,100 phone calls, over 1,200 walk-ins, over 808 payoff requests, and we conducted over 771 property inspections. That's knocking on doors of delinquent taxpayers in this jurisdiction to make personal contact with them regarding setting up payment arrangements and making payments on their delinquent taxes owed to McAllen ISD. Regarding litigation, we have filed 86 lawsuits or interventions during this period, totaling over $371,000 in base tax owed to the district. In addition, we've taken 29 judgments totaling over $74,000 owed in base tax, and 32 tax warrants also were filed on behalf of the district. We also regularly conduct tax sales for delinquent properties within the district. Those are regarding delinquent taxpayers who've made little or no effort to pay their delinquent taxes to the district. We've conducted 3 tax sales during this fiscal year, placing 10 properties for sale. You'll note of those properties, 4 were sold, resulting in over $17,000 to the district. And 2 were pulled regarding, for the reason for a letter of commitment for payment to the district. Our representation also includes representing the districts in a bankruptcy filed dealing with a delinquent taxpayer in this jurisdiction. That representation includes filing claims, monitoring the bankruptcy process, attending hearings, engaging in active litigation, and doing everything possible to represent the district's interests. During this reporting period, you had 69 bankruptcy filings involving delinquent taxpayers in this jurisdiction, which equates to over $548,000 tied up in the bankruptcy process. Regarding the collection highlights, during this reporting period, you'll note that we collected, as Ms. Garcia stated earlier, over $1.9 million in base taxes. Regarding our collection goal for the district was 33%. We exceeded that goal. We collected 33.52%. You'll also take note that this is less than the percentage collected last year, but as we have discussed on a couple occasions with the board, you had an unprecedented modification that occurred to your roll last year of $1.3 million. And I use the term unprecedented because Hidalgo County last year had a modification of $1.6 million. So this really affected your collection percentage last year, as well as a anomalous collection, one-time collection of property that we like to refer as NECO, which was over $362,000. So without those two factors, the collection percentage last year would have hovered around 30.59%. So looking forward to the future, we will continue to monitor bankruptcy accounts involving delinquent taxpayers in this jurisdiction. We will also continue to review your delinquent tax roll for accounts to place in litigation if necessary. We've already completed your July mailing, and we look forward to an August and September mailing to reach out to the taxpayers. As mentioned before, our office also completes a property value study on behalf of the district. And the brief highlights are, due to our 2015 property value study appeal, the district received, let me click on that link for you. Excuse me. The district received a value reduction of over $79 million from the comptroller's preliminary value estimate. This reduction should provide approximately over $1 million in additional state aid funding for the 2016-2017 year. Our appeals for the 2013 to 2015 studies have resulted in a total value reduction of over $218 million and approximately over $2.7 million in additional state aid. If you have any specific questions regarding the property value study appeal, I'd be happy to introduce the district to our specialist and our director for property value studies, Mr. Robbie Harbuck, but that's a summary of the work completed.
I have two questions. The first question is, when y'all do the property value study, how long does that take, the study itself, more or less? A year?
With all the work completed, yes. I know we met with Ms. Garcia and Ms. Richards earlier in the year to describe the process and hear the results.
And I guess the second most important question to us on the board and to our community is how much does this cost us for you to do this study? How much does it cost us as a district?
It doesn't cost anything for the district. Correct.
Okay.
It's part of our contract.
Now, in 2013, and this question is referred to Mrs. Garcia. Ms. Garcia, we would have a property value study. What would that cost us?
Actually, in 2013, that property value study was conducted by the Linebarger firm. The previous years were conducted by the firm of Purdue, and at that time they were charging a fee of 7.5%. And for the 2011 fiscal year, it was $34,632. And if you were to total up the last 3 fiscal years, it's a total of about $162,000.
And now we pay
0. That is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Mr. Villa.
Thank you.
Trustee Villa.
For Ms. Salazar, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Spoke with Ms. Garcia about the studies last week. What's the lag time between when you do the study and we see the money in additional state aid?
Well,
Actually, I could answer that.
I think we talked about it, and we were going to...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As far as the 2013, the amount, we've already received the money in the 15-16 school year. The 2014 amount has been certified by the state comptrollers. So once it's certified, we really have never seen TEA dispute that amount, which was a question that you had. And as far as the 2015 value, that's already included, has been updated, because it was done so quickly prior to the final state comptroller values. They've already updated in their website. So TEA will use that figure to calculate our state aid.
Okay, and who is the study done by?
The property value study, it's done by our office.
And the state takes that as, and I don't mean to be, I'm just trying to authenticate or verify, if you will, thank you,
Yes.
the value study and the figures that you're presenting to the state, and why or why they may not challenge your study.
Well, I know we do our research, we provide it to the state. As far as the intricate details and process that occurs after that, I'd have to call in Mr. Harbuck to really describe that in detail to the board, and we could do that at the board's earliest opportunity.
I'm just trying to see that the money's ours. That's what I'm, and that we can use it for budgeting and
Right.
planning purposes going forward.
You've already received the 2013 money, as I understand, and the 2014 money, it's my understanding, should be coming in late September,
In
early
September,
October.
Yes. And actually, the 2015 money, we did not include it in this year's budget, so that, at the point of notification, is when we would process a budget amendment to the board at that time. So it was not included as money that we earmarked for spending.
And there's another study in place now?
Yes,
There's a study going on now for the same?
correct.
You keep going.
That's
You do
right.
2 studies at one time?
They did
Okay.
3.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Trustee Vella. Any other questions from the board? So this is another example of cost avoidance, where we're able to find ways of not paying for what we might have been paying in the past, and therefore those monies aren't spent, and therefore they're available at the discretion of the administration and the board for expenditures elsewhere where needs have been identified. So for that year, which we already know and did not include those monies for this next September 2016 for the 2016-17, although they're 2 years in arrears, is way we draw down our monies from the state. What was the amount that we're anticipating will be drawn down
For the
that we did not budget for and include in our budget for this year?
For the 16-17 in the general fund, we're budgeting about, looking to receive about $900,000.
So that's $900,000 in addition now to the savings we had by not doing the study that's now available for discretionary within the district.
That's correct.
Unallocated.
And that's just for 2013.
And that's just for 2013, exactly. Good point.
We love money.
Very good. Thank you. Any other thoughts? All right, very good. Thank you for your
Thank you very much.
presentations, Ms.
Thank you.
Sosa. Thank you, Ms. Garcia, for yours as well. And at this time, we did reorganize the agenda. We're now proceeding to 9D2. And 9D2 will now be taken at this time, and that is approval, renewal, of request for qualification number 2015-025, collection of delinquent taxes. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. We're asking for approval of the renewal of the agreement for the collection of delinquent taxes with Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson LLP, and we are requesting action on this item.
So move.
Thank you. We have a motion by...
I have some questions before we...
We have discussion.
A motion by trustee Suarez and a second by trustee Vela. Mr. Alvarado, you now have the floor.
Every year then, we're coming back and renewing.
Yes, sir. The contract is a one-year contract with the option to renew for 2 additional one-year terms.
Okay. So prior to selecting them, the previous firm had it for 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When did we change that? I don't recall that discussion.
We had a lengthy discussion
I remember
prior
that.
to approving this contract. We were directed to do it, to
Let
bring
me
it
ask
back
this
to the board
question. I
once
don't
a year.
remember us taking a vote on the length of the contract. So who decided that?
If I may clarify,
Yes, sir.
we did have an action, and it was a contract that we had to approve. And we did enter an agreement. It's the Board of Trustees can only enter into a contract on a year-to-year basis because your drawdown for your budget is on a year-to-year basis. Now, you can go for multiple years, but it's really for this example, it's a 3-year contract with a yearly renewal of that contract. That's, when it comes to vendors, since we're on an annual budget cycle, we have to budget it that way.
Okay. So with the other company, and I don't remember from our previous time, did we do the same thing for them? Every year we renewed in 1 year?
I'd have to go back.
Because We did?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure the last time, because we had the same discussion, and at least the last two contract agreements with the other firm, as with all vendors we work with, we went to that model, because it made it clear as to how we budget our commitment, and at the same time, for what length of time, and then it's subject to an annual review.
Okay, so basically, there's no point in having a 3-year contract, is what?
Well, if I may.
Yes, sir, Mr. Suarez.
I think what we're trying to clarify is that the bid is for 3 years. We renew it every year. We're not going out for proposals every year.
Okay.
Now, in the event that we would not renew it, then we would go out for a proposal. But for the next 3 years, the contract that we have is that we're going to renew every year. Now, in the event that for some reason, we don't renew, then we go out for proposals.
Okay, and I'm just trying to clarify. So today, we were to not renew, then we would have to go out for RFPs.
Right.
Do we have any other contracts in the district that are the same way? Any 3 or 4 year contracts?
Yes, we do. We have a multi.
Are we coming every year to renew those?
We are. We do have multiple contracts.
I just wanted to make sure. That's fine.
And
as long as we're being consistent.
Yes.
Because to me, a 3-year contract is a 3-year contract. Because if we weren't happy with a performance during any time in the 3 year, I don't have to wait every year. I could bring it to the board, our agenda, and we could discuss it then. I'm just kind of wondering why we're having to renew this every year, because it seems like I prefer just a 3-year contract. If we're not happy.
It's because we get reports every year that we're getting free money, and we like that.
Well, yeah, but you can still bring in the reports.
No, I know. I'm just joking.
Well, Mr. Alvarado, this was a concern, and when we did a complete analysis, when we did our accounting audit about at least 3 years ago, this came up that we were inconsistent. In our discussion with our council, we reviewed all our contracts, and they were different. And so to get some consistency and to align our budgets and to align our review, it just gives us the board a chance to review these. And again, as Mr. Trustee Suarez mentioned, if there's a concern, then we take an action today. If not, yeah, there is in most cases, as it is in this case, you have a 30-day out clause by either side. So there's 2 opportunities there. Either you put it on the agenda sooner than the annual renewal, should you have a concern on a 30 out, or you wait until the year is up. We see where they are, we look at their performance, and we decide.
No, I understand that. I just want to make sure we're being consistent, but I didn't realize all the contracts are going this route then.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Mr. Ring?
I don't know if I can say all. I could say probably 95%. The only other thing I would add is the President Salazar said is approximate same percentage of contracts have 30-day out clauses.
No, I get all that. I mean, the 30-day outside, I get that. I'm just wondering, if to me, a 3-year contract's a 3-year contract. I mean, there's no sense in renewing it if
Well, except for the budget period. That's the exception where governmental entities are different than private entities.
The reality is, and we had a long discussion, and with council and with others, and we recognize that it was a misnomer what we were saying. And when we say, okay, we're going into a 3-year contract, yes, it's a 3-year, but we're required as a governmental entity to review it once a year.
Right.
So we then worded ours in such a way that it made more sense, because you had vendors saying, what do you mean I have to go before the board for an annual renewal when I have a 3-year contract? It was the way the wording was. So to make it consistent, apparently we're in real good shape, we're at 95%, that's the direction we've been moving.
Okay, just a little different direction, because I think prior, a long time ago, we would just have a 3-year contract, and we would have them come in, do their review, and that was it.
Yeah.
And the only time we brought it up is at the end of the 3 years, we would go off for RFQs again, and knowing that if someone wasn't happy during that 3-year term, you can bring it up at any time. But I'm not happy with them. So anyway, it's semantics. I'm just curious to see how we came to that, because I don't recall agreeing to a 1 year, but you're right, I voted for the contract, so it's probably, or we review the contract after the fact, or the terms were not in there, because I thought we were doing a 3-year.
It is a 3-year with an annual option for renewal, and that's the action today. This is the first
I
of the 3
understand that, but
years.
was the annual included in that first last? It was? Okay,
Yes.
then it's my oversight.
It's in the manner that the RFQ was advertised,
Okay.
and we do have multi-year contracts that are set for a 3-year fixed period. The district has gone in both directions in the past. When I started with the district, we were doing every year renewals, 3 years with every year renewals. And then at one point, we were directed to do fixed term on some of the less, like the low priority type contracts that did not need to be reviewed yearly. So we do have some of those that are still at 3 year.
I guess my last comment, and it's not really a concern, it's not really the vendor or whoever, I'm just saying because Dr. Gonzalez has a 3-year contract, so we review it every year. Are we going to renew it every year?
Actually, that's different. This is an employee contract. An employee contract is different. An employee contract, under the statute and under board policy, you can have multi-year fixed. And so the standard has been at McAllen ISD, at least for the last 2 trustees prior to, was a 3-year contract initial. And then you can go up higher, but the maximum allowed by the statute and under board policy is 5 years for a trustee. I'm sorry, for a superintendent. So that is very different from a vendor source. And again, it's gone back and forth, and TASB has given us different recommendation. But about 4 or 5 years ago, when we had a complete audit and we saw this inconsistency throughout the district and a lot of misunderstanding, especially with our vendors, it was decided then that we start moving towards not a fixed contract with vendors, but rather a 2, 3, 4 year agreement with an option to renew every year. And that's the direction we are, and that was the agreement we have currently with this firm, which I have to remind the board we must get back to the item before us as to whether we approve the renewal request for qualifications under number 2015-025 for the collection of delinquent tax for 1 more year.
Okay, I'll let it go, but I do want then a update of all the contracts we have then that are multi-year like this, and to get to that 95, I want to review that then.
Yes, sir. And what we can do is we move forward, and you and I can discuss at what time frame you want to put that on the agenda when the administration is able to do that for us, probably sometime in September, if that works for you, Mr.
Okay.
Aldo. All right, sir. Thank you. And getting back to the item before us, any further discussion?
No, sir.
All right. Proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Will now, motion carries. We'll now proceed to item 8, action of items in closed session. Again, no actions were taken or votes were taken in closed session, but we discussed the following. And we'll proceed with item 8A, approval of human resource recommendations for school year 2016-2017. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Human Resources is submitting a list of recommendations under a separate cover for discussion during closed session, and we are requesting action on this item this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. It's now before the board. What say you?
So moved, sir.
It's moved by Mr. Alvarado, second by Trustee Vela. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries. Thank you. We'll now proceed to item 8B, human resource submission of employee resignations for school year 2015-2016. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, Human Resources is submitting a list of resignations for the 2015-2016 school year under a separate cover for discussion during closed session. This item is for information only.
Any questions from the board? Hearing none, we proceed to AC, Human Resource Submission and Employee Resignations for school year 2016-2017. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Human Resources is now submitting a list of resignations for the 2016-2017 school year under a separate cover for discussion during closed session, and this item is for information only.
Any questions from the board?
No, sir.
Hearing none, we'll proceed to 8D, approval of assistant principal for Dr. Carlos Castañeda Elementary School. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of Edna Hernandez for the position of assistant principal for Dr. Carlos Castañeda Elementary School.
We have a recommendation. Do I have a motion from the board?
Yes, sir.
So moved by Mr. Forina. Do I have a second from Mr. Alvarado?
Yes, you do, sir.
Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Congratulations.
She's here?
I was going to say, if you
Either
see
here.
anybody here, would you have them stand?
Absolutely.
She here?
She's not.
She's
She's waiting for a call right now.
She may be watching online. Congratulations to you. All the best. Get to work.
Get to work.
We got one after.
She's probably actually working. 8E, 8G, approval of Assistant Principal of Krista McAuliffe Elementary School. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of Yvonne Science for the position of Assistant Principal for Krista McAuliffe Elementary School. We are requesting action on this item tonight.
Items before the board. It's been moved by Mr.
Second.
Suarez. Oh, Mr. Vela did the motion?
Vela.
Mr. Vela did the motion. We have a second by Mr. Suarez. Any discussion?
Sir.
Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations. Are they present?
They're partying.
All right. If you're watching online, congratulations to you. 8F, approval of Assistant Principal of Theodore Roosevelt Elementary School. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of Christian Trevino for the position of Assistant Principal for Theodore Roosevelt Elementary School, and we are requesting action on this item tonight.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Fornina. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Suarez. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion's carries the affirmative 5-0. Congratulations. Have a great year. We'll now proceed to 8G, approval of Assistant Principal for Dr. Rodney D. Cathy Middle School. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of April Williams for the position of Assistant Principal for Dr. Rodney D. Cathy Middle School, and we are requesting action on this item tonight.
So moved, sir.
So moved by Mr. Alvarado. Seconded by Mr. Vela. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Congratulations. Get to work. Have a great year. 8H. They're probably saying, I have been working. I haven't gone home. 8H, approval of Assistant Principal for Abraham Lincoln Middle School. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, we are recommending approval of Manuel Garcia for the position of Assistant Principal for Abraham Lincoln Middle School, and we are requesting action on this item tonight.
What say you? So moved by Mr. Suarez. Do I have a second?
Second. Mr. Vela did it. He's hogging up all the ayes.
He's throwing his voice.
No, that would be Mr. Fornina.
Mr. Vela, Trustee Vela did the motion. Mr. Suarez did the second. Now before the board, any questions, comments?
No, sir.
Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Congratulations. Have a great year. 8I, approval of Assistant Principal for McAllen High School. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of Josabat Palacios for the position of Assistant Principal for McAllen High School, and we are requesting action on this item tonight.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Suarez.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fornina. Any discussion, any questions? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Congratulations. Have a banner year. 8J, approval of Associate Superintendent for Instructional Leadership. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of Mrs. Bridget V. for the position of Associate Superintendent for Instructional Leadership, and we are requesting action on this item
So
tonight.
moved.
So moved by Mr. Suarez.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fornina. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Congratulations.
Come on up to the table, Ms. V.
We have some questions for you.
Right up there.
We know you're prepared for your presentation, so we'll get started.
Any words for the board, Ms. V, for the community? Anything you'd like to share?
Just thank you very much for the vote of confidence, and it's an honor. It's been an honor for 20 years to work here with McAllen ISD, and just a great honor to be up again in another position, and I'll work very, very hard for the principals and directors, the whole district, all the teachers, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. V. We have every confidence. Wish you Godspeed and a great year. Thank you. 8K, approval of the Assistant Superintendent for Instructional Service. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of Dr. Sylvia Ibarra for the position of Assistant Superintendent for Instructional Services, and we are requesting action on this item tonight.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Vela, seconded by Mr. Fornina. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Congratulations.
that's your seat right there, Dr. Ibarra.
And I think your presentation's loaded up, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Kidding, I'm just kidding.
So
It's up to him.
words for the board of the community.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm truly humbled and honored to be part of this team. I do want to let you know that I am a product of McAllen ISD. I graduated from McAllen Memorial back in 1986. And
Go Mustangs. Go Mustangs.
yes. Well, actually, I was a 3-year grad. I should have graduated with Mr. Alvarado in
Right.
87, but I got
She
ahead.
was too smart.
And again, I'm going to work diligently alongside Dr. Gonzalez, Ms. V, and the entire team to continue to move the district forward. McAllen ISD is a great, great district. I'm proud to be part of this district, and I'm here to work. I'm ready to work.
And
Congratulations.
what do you want to say for all the parents and students at Jackson Elementary that are going to be missing you?
I'm only a phone call away, and they're very, very comfortable with me, and I know that I build relationships with them, and I'm here to support them, as well as the rest of the schools.
Excellent.
If you don't mind, I have a question too. Your resume was really extensive. You have a lot of experience in high school,
Yes.
middle school, and junior high.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Elementary.
And for some that may not know, it's Dr. Ibarra.
Yes.
So you did attain your doctorate degree very recently, and congratulations to that. And we have every confidence in you, and wish you continued success and have a banner year.
Thank you.
Hire your replacement soon.
Yes, definitely.
Dr. Gonzalez, anything else you'd like to add? This is a long list of a lot of work you and your team put together. Anything you'd like to add?
Well, I do want to thank Dr. Ibarra and Mrs. V, all the assistant principals that came forward, but for the two members that are now official, Ms. V, as far as being the interim associate superintendent, and also in your capacity of crunching the data for us as a teacher analyst. You've done a tremendous job, and I'm looking forward to working with you in your new assignment. And Dr. Ibarra, you've done a tremendous job leading Jackson Elementary. I know that as a former principal of Kathy, as your students fed into my school, I was always confident that you were sending a quality product, and the students are always very respectful and well prepared academically, and the parents always spoke very highly of you. So looking forward to magnifying that across our system, and very, very happy to have you on the executive leadership team. So looking forward to working with both of you in this new capacity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
If no other comments from the board, we'll continue with the agenda. 8L, which is pending and or potential litigation. This is a case regarding Amanda Cedillos versus McAllen Independent School District, EEOC/TWC ERD. Proceed as directed.
We will proceed as directed.
Thank you. And there's no possible real estate acquisition at this time, right?
That's correct.
Thank you, sir. We'll now proceed to item 9 on the agenda. This is instructional service, human resource district operations, business operations, superintendent, and board of trustees items. 9A, instructional services items. Dr. Gonzalez, 9A1 is approval of purchase of data management for assessment and curriculum, DMAC online program. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district purchases an electronic system for data analysis of both state and local benchmark assessments called DMAC, and we are requesting action on this item tonight.
All right, sir. It's now before the board. What say you?
So moved.
It's well moved by Mr. Fodina. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Suarez. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes 5-0. Proceed to 9A2, approval of interlocal cooperative agreement number 2016018, Region 1 Purchasing Cooperative General Interlocal Membership for Special Services, Projects, Children Nutrition, and Library Cooperatives, and reporting of management fees. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The Region 1 Cooperative serves as an additional resource to the district for the purchases of goods, services, and professional development, and we are requesting action on this item tonight.
Now before the board, what say you?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Suarez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Fodina. Any discussion?
Quick question.
Yes,
Is this
Mr.
any
Suarez.
different from anything we've done in the years past?
No, sir.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0, motion carries. Now proceed to 9A3, approval of sole source number 2016-011, professional services, materials and fees through College Board. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. This contract is used to support college awareness, college readiness, and ultimately college success, and we are requesting action on this item.
Items before the board, what say you?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Alvarado,
Second.
second by Trustee Farina. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0, motion carries. Now proceed to 9A4, approval of sole source purchase number 2016-025, Read 180 to next generation version, technical support, instructional resources, and professional development from Houghton Mulfin Hortcourt. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Read 180 is an online reading intervention and comprehension program utilized in grades 3 through 5 and also middle school and high school. So it's very beneficial to the district and our students, and we are requesting action on this item.
Items before the board, what say you?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Farina. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Alvarado.
And I'm going to put our new assistant superintendent on the spot and ask her comments on Read 180.
Absolutely. Well, Read 180 is a very effective program to help struggling readers. The principals identify those students that have the most need in the area of reading, and it's a pull-out program. Campuses have either the option of pulling out students for an hour or 90 minutes, and so during that time they get very targeted instruction that's specific to their needs.
Okay.
So it's an excellent program.
You had it at your school.
Yes, I did.
Do you know if it's in all the elementaries or just it's not all the schools?
It's in all the elementaries,
It's all the
yes.
elementaries. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Trustee Alvarado. Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0, motion carries. We'll now proceed to 9A5, approval sole source purchase number 2015-030, Voyager Sorpress Learning Incorporated, Materials and Professional Development for Dyslexia. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district implements a comprehensive dyslexia plan to assist students with dyslexia during the school day, and we are requesting action on this item.
It's now before the board. What say you?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Suarez. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Second by Trustee Alvarado. Any discussion?
I just have a question. I don't know
Yes, sir.
if Dr. Gonzalez, we've been doing this program for how long already?
I'm not sure. How long have we utilized this service? Does anybody know? I know that we've been providing dyslexia services for years, but I just don't know if it's this particular vendor that we've been utilizing.
It's been about 2 years that we've been using this program.
Okay. I guess what I want to know is how effective has this program been versus other programs?
We can do an analysis, sir. We'd have to look at the number of students that have dyslexia that have gone through this particular program, and we can compare it to what we had before.
So my other question, I guess this would be for Ms. Garcia, is how many different people, was there an RFP or an RFQ proposed for this?
No, so there wasn't. This was a sole source purchase, and it's
Okay.
exempt from competitive bidding.
No problem.
Any other discussion?
I have a question, sir.
Yes, sir. Trustee Farina.
I know that in years past, we've used the iPads to use for the instruction for dyslexia. Is that going to be compatible with the Chromebooks that we are issuing out now?
Yes, sir. Our elementary students will utilize their Airbooks, but our secondary students will utilize their Chromebooks on top of desktops that we have in the dyslexia labs and other intervention materials that we use to service dyslexia students. So,
excellent.
Just a point of, or add a comment to that, Dr. Gonzalez said, attended some meetings with different organizations with kids with disabilities. Some of our students are asking, or some of the parents are asking, especially for kids in elementary that are special ed students, to continue to use their iPads. Those are more interactive. They have more practicality than the Chromebook or I'm sorry, I said elementary, junior high. So I don't know, they were made available, and that's more of a special ed question, but just a comment.
at this point, we do have class sets at the middle school level. From a one-to-one perspective, they will be getting the Chromebook, but we will definitely work with parents on a case-by-case. The thing about the special ed with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, when you go to an ARD meeting, the admission review and dismissal meeting, all of those things are discussed. So if the art committee believes that an iPad would best benefit that student, then the child will get an iPad.
Okay.
And the first time this was introduced was in school year 2015-2016, so this is for the second year, and it's a one-year contract. Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries. We'll now go to 9A6, approval of agreement between McAllen Independent School District and Communities and Schools of Hidalgo County Incorporated. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district utilizes this program to address the needs of students in order to improve attendance, behavior, academic performance, retention rates, and projected graduation rates, and we are requesting action on this item tonight.
Items before the board, what say you?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Farina. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Second by
Mr. Vela.
trustee Alvarado. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries 5-0. Proceed to 9A7, approval of interlocal cooperative agreement for 2016-032, language learners at the University of Texas at Austin Center for Hispanic Achievement, or LUCHA. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district utilizes this program to obtain and analyze high school transcripts from Mexico, as well as graduation credit analysis and online diagnostic assessments, and we are requesting action on this item.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. What say you, board?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Trustee Vela. Do I have a second? Trustee Farina, second. Do I have any discussion?
Please, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I guess it's for Ms. Garcia. The anticipated expenditures for the year, do we pay the number of times we use it, or is it a flat fee as many times as we use it? How do we?
You know, actually, I don't have that information, sir.
I believe when we had this discussion last year, it was a flat fee, and however many times we used it. And I believe Dr. Ponce was one of the ones that pointed that out to us, that, you know, if we used it once or if we used it 100 times, it was going to be that one standard fee.
We'll research that and let you know.
Because if you're going to pay that much, you might as well use it every day.
Right.
Or just. Okay, Ms. Garcia.
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll get back to the board.
So the contract does say up to 50,000,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
what
what your question is?
Because of the way it's worded, I'm thinking that
Right.
it's a per-use basis, but I just want clarification on that.
Yes, sir. We'll get you clarification.
Yeah, the budget's through Title I, Part A, Improvement Basics, which is 211 line item, and also 193 out of the State Compensatory Education Program, but it is $210,000. So do we want to go ahead and proceed with an action on this, or do you wish to?
Actually, we can go ahead and proceed. It won't make any difference on my vote. I just wanted to get information, but I would still like the forthcoming answer to that.
Yes, sir.
Fair enough. Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. We now proceed to 9A8, approval of interlocal cooperative agreement for 2016-036, Texas Curriculum Management Program Cooperative TEACS Resource. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district utilizes this system as a curriculum guide for teachers to plan their lessons and to be in compliance with the state requirements, and we are requesting action on this item.
Item before the board, what say you?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Farina. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Suarez. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to... Yes, sir,
Actually,
trustee
Dr.
Alvarado.
Gonzalez, is this only with this program only through the University of Texas?
Are we going back to
No.
oh. I thought you were about Luchas.
My fellow Aggie, I'm asking, no. I'm just curious, is UTRGV have a similar program, or, is your...
The whole thing here is it's a cooperative that it is a TEACS resource for us.
Do we have other TEACS resources, or is this the only one?
No, there are several.
Oh, okay,
TEACS
that's my point.
resources.
I didn't know we were just using one, but there's multiple. Okay, that's fine.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Now proceed to 9A9, approval interlocal cooperative agreement number 2016-021, University of Texas at Austin, on-ramp, I have to say it out loud, I'm sorry, I have to do it. Hook 'em horns, program. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir.
Just say.
We lost the Alvarado vote.
The district maintains a cooperative program of dual enrollment that allows high school students to earn high school credit from MISD and Texas Core Curriculum College credit from the University of Texas at Austin, and we are requesting action on this item.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Alvarado. Do I have a second? Trustee Vela. Any discussion?
So I just want to clarify this. You will be able to take the courses in high school and receive college credit from the University of Texas.
At Austin.
At Austin.
It's the same thing as high school. I'm just kidding.
Shots fired.
Sorry, Mr. Vela. Sorry, Mr. Vela.
Right. Now, will this be provided at all the high schools?
Yes.
Yes, sir. It's for all conference.
Okay,
Right
because
there for this year, it will only be at Mac High because Mac High is afforded this opportunity because they're a Europe campus.
right, and I also, my understanding is also that two of our teachers actually went to the University of Texas and got certified by the university.
But if I'm a student at Roe that wants to enroll in a course, would we allow that?
If
At
they
Mac
travel
High?
to Mac High.
If they travel to Mac
Yes,
High?
absolutely.
And we'll provide that transportation if that's what they want?
Yes.
So
Trustee Suarez, you saw.
that's it, I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Trustee Alvarado.
He wants to know when A&M is going to be able to.
No. Actually, I want to ask, is there plans to include the other high schools? I know they're not gear up, but if they are, what's the projection?
It would be watching how this year goes and learning and then adding to it. And absolutely, the plan is to move on to across all the high schools.
Okay.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries. Thank you. We now proceed to 9B, human resource items. This is Mr. Miller. 9-1, approval request for proposal number 2015-140, pharmacy benefit management services. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
I'm sorry, before you go, I have conflict on the next two items, so I will be excluding myself and walking out.
We have a conflict on the next two items, which is 9B1 and 9B2 with Trustee Alvarado. Okay. We'll now proceed back to 9B1, approval request for proposal number 2015-140, pharmacy benefit management services. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district utilizes this contract for processing and paying prescription drug claims and other prescription benefit management services, and we are requesting action on this item tonight. And Mr. Silva is here to answer any questions you may have.
Item before the board, what say you? Item
Let's
before the board,
discuss.
what say you? You want to discuss? Okay. Who has the floor?
Mr. Vela.
Mr. Vela?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Bailey? Just raising a question. Mr. Alvarado had a conflict. Do you also have a conflict?
No, sir.
Okay.
Pharmacies are contracted through networks and not directly with any providers, whether it be for the health insurance or the pharmacy benefits. And that's the way it's been like that since, and I think Mr. Sila will clarify that for me.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Well, I think, excuse me, I think the better question should be, Mr. Crane is our attorney. Is Mr. Vela okay? Because I don't want it to come back and haunt us later. Is he okay to discuss this?
Again, not knowing how they're paid, he was saying that they were paid through another group.
Yes.
I'm just a little concerned about whether you would have a conflict.
Why don't, if the board so pleases, and if there's no objection, let's discuss this with council in closed session. I think that might be the appropriate way to discuss this, so we're free to have a conversation with council unless somebody opposes that. That'd be my suggestion.
I'd like to make a motion to go into recess and go into closed session.
We have a motion to go into recess. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion going to recess at this time into closed session? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of going to recess to go into closed session signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Can we go to Dr. Chu's office?
Yeah, let me just, if you don't, please. So as I hear it, it was a 4-0 vote to go into closed session. Hearing no objection, that is the vote. So we are now going into closed session at 7:47. The Board of Trustees has been in closed session since 7:47. It's now 8:04. We're now reconvened in open session. For the record, there was no action, no votes taken while in closed session. We met with our counsel and proceed as directed. Going back to item 9B1, approval request for proposal number 2015-140, pharmacy benefit management services. What say you, board?
Mr. President, I move that we pull the item for a later meeting.
Mr. Trustee Fornita's motion is to pull this item at this time. Do I have a second?
Before doing that.
Do I have a second? I'm sorry, I need to wait for a second or it dies.
Second.
Second. We have a motion from Mr. Trustee Forina and a second by Trustee Suarez. Now we have discussion. Mr. Suarez, Trustee Suarez.
Mr. Miller, I have some questions on how you choose who the finalist is. I'm sorry, Mr. Silva. And I'm wondering, I'll start with this question. Who sits on your committee? When you discuss on what pharmacy benefit management services you have, who sits on that committee?
Well, it's a two-part answer because as far as the process for the finalists, we took the lead from our benefits consultant, Valley Risk Consultant. So
before we go any further, would it be possible to get one of them up here?
Absolutely. They're prepared to answer any questions.
Sure.
So obviously we take the lead from them in terms of establishing criteria, what services we should look for, obviously the cost, all of those things that we should be looking for and the questions we should be asking. In terms of committees, there's a long-standing insurance advisory committee that's comprised of several administrative staff and several campus-based representatives that participate in some meetings leading up to a final recommendation.
When you say standing, that means it's the same people that have been there for years past?
It's by the membership is by department or teacher org. So okay. The ones that change or are subject to change more often are the teacher orgs. They may change membership. Typically, it's the president of the organization. But if the president feels they want to assign somebody else, they can.
Okay. So let's further into the process. And so you do obviously you do a ranking system like we do everything else. You choose, for example, here a pharmacy benefit management service. The one that's come before the board now, is it ever taken into consideration what local pharmacies or what pharmacies in the area are accepted? Or do we just solely look at the cost benefit?
No, there's a component to establish the disruption when it comes to networks. That's one of the things we do definitely evaluate, whether or not moving to a different PBM, pharmacy benefit management group, would cause any disruption. And by that I mean the number of pharmacies, whether they're chains, whether they're independent. So there is an analysis done as to the number and types of pharmacies that are in the network.
So in your professional opinion, in all the investigation that you have done, the PBM that you're recommending now is suitable for the employees of McAllen ISD? There's enough networks here that we will not see any kind of disruption?
Well, I would hesitate to say no disruption. I will tell you that we did an exercise based on the major chains, which is in your packet, major chains, as well as based on utilization, some of the top utilized local or independent chains. And we asked all the finalists to let us know whether or not those particular pharmacies were in their network or not. And so they responded, whether they were or they were not.
And when you say all the finalists, how many finalists are there?
There was 5 total.
And was there a top 2, top 3?
They're ranked, and the ranking is in your packet.
Right,
Yes,
right.
yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to ask, like we've done in the past, it's not common practice, but I know that in the past 2 instances, when we chose our tax attorney, when we chose our consultant, when, what was the other item? The insurance, our insurance consultant. I would really like to give the superintendent a directive that when we have the 2 finalists, to let them make their presentation to the board. Something like this that impacts so many people, it's not that I'm undermining you or undermining our consulting firm, but I think that sometimes when we have people in front of us, we're able to ask questions, and something that impacts a person's health, where they get their medication, how soon they get their medication, how affordable is the medication, that's important to me. And I'm sure I speak for everyone on this board. And so before taking no action, I think that we would really, really like to consider us, whether it be a special meeting or at a board meeting, that we hear from the finalists and let the board make the final decision on that. That would be my opinion.
At this time, for clarity, the motion before us at this time is to table this item and not take any action at this time.
No action.
No table, no action.
I'm sorry. Again, the clarity is, and the discussion really needs to center on taking no action. That is the motion that we have. And so I need to get us back on track. The motion before us is to take no action on item 9B1. And so is there any discussion as to whether we should or should not take action on this item at this time?
One last question. By not taking action today, does it affect our employees tomorrow?
No, sir. The contracts expire September 30th, so we have approximately 60 days before we need to have something in place.
Okay.
Any other question or comment? Hearing none, again, the motion is that we take no action on item 9B1, approval request for proposal number 2015-140, pharmacy benefit management services. That is the motion before us, to take no action. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carries 4-0. We are taking no action at this time on item 9B1. We'll proceed to 9B2. This is approval request for proposal number 2015-139, medical and dental plan administration and related services with preferred provider network. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district utilizes this contract for third-party claims administration services, preferred provider organization, and self-funded dental plan administration, and we are requesting action on this item.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. What say you, board?
I move to approve.
It's been a motion by Trustee Vela. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Hearing no second, motion dies. We'll now proceed to 9C, District Operations Item C1, 9C1, resolution authorizing sale of surplus real properties generally described as property at the following locations: Michael E. Fossum, Parcel 9, Lucille McKee Hendricks Elementary, Parcel 50. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The Texas Department of Transportation has accepted the district's counteroffer for the 2 parcels of land owned by the district. The 2 parcels of land are along Ware Road and located at Fossum Middle School and Hendricks Elementary School, and we are requesting action on this item this evening.
Mr. President and board members, just a little further information regarding this item. This item originally started and is still proceeding as a condemnation action. TxDOT is attempting to condemn this land for expansion of Ware Road, and as usual with condemnations under prior law and the current law, is that before they commence condemnation and before they proceed any further, they try to negotiate with the parties who own the land to determine whether or not they can reach an agreement. And in this case, the district obtained an appraisal of the land that they're condemning, and TxDOT has agreed to pay the appraised value as per the district's appraisal for this property.
Thank you, Mr. Crane. And it's looking for widening of a roadway? Is that what they're
Widening Ware Road.
Widening Ware Road, and that's what they're attempting to do by getting this acquisition of this property. Thank you for clarity. The item still before the board. What say you?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Alvarado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Farina. Any discussion?
Yeah, just a point of clarification. We talked in our committee meeting. Dr. Beretta, we didn't have a timetable, right, that we knew when they're going to start?
I have representatives here with the engineering firm and TxDOT, both in the audience here. I'd be happy to have them come
They've
up.
been sitting here patiently. Come on.
They sure have, and they got a big project ahead of them.
Thank you for your patience. I am so sorry. If I was aware, I would have had this item also moved up.
I have Mr. Garcia.
No, Mr. Garza.
Mr. Garza, he's with TxDOT, and then I have Mr. Alfredo Herrera. He's with LNG Engineering. Fernando with
LNG.
I've talked to him several times on the phone, and I finally get to meet him. So this
Now you know which is which.
I know which is which. Yeah.
Mr. Garza, there you go.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
the question was when it was going to start. We have a letting date of July 2017 for this project. So that's the date that's going to let construction. You're probably going to look at maybe 3 months after it lets. So.
What was the date? I'm sorry.
Oh, July of 2017.
Oh, 2017. Okay. And you're talking where Ware Road, we're going towards Edinburgh. So the Fossum would be affected by up to the fence where some of that would be taken right to make way for the medium and then the 2 lanes.
Correct, to accommodate the 6-lane facility.
6 lane.
Yes, yes, right.
I have pictures up on the board here. This picture here is a Fossum, and it hits up there by Auburn Avenue, but it's approximately 20 feet deep and runs 645 feet, and that would be this area right in here.
Yes, the proposed right-of-way for that entire section from Buddy Owens to Auburn Avenue is 120 feet. So this is one of the areas that we needed the additional right-of-way to get the 120.
I think we're going to continue. They want to continue the 6 lanes.
Yes.
From mile 3 all the way to mile 5.
Oh, great.
And eventually after that, of course, continue with the 6 lanes all the way up to 107 eventually. But right now, this is just up to mile 5.
So going into 60 feet deep, how much of that into Fossum are you going?
It's approximately 20 feet.
Yes.
So where the trees are, there is a fence. If you look on the right where the cursor, the hand is, there's a fence right there. So I think it's going up to that fence, correct?
Yes, it'll go to that fence 20 feet back and run this full length of approximately 645 feet.
It also affected traffic flow because, and probably not in a bad way. So when you're leaving Fossum, there are a lot of cars that like to turn left onto Ware Road, and it's a nightmare. So this is going to force you to go right.
It'll be, what I understand is 6 lanes, and it'll have a median there, and it'll have a right turning lane for us when we turn into Fossum.
Right.
And this was done in consultation. They first.
But when you exit, though, you have to take a right, though, right?
Correct.
Yes. And like Mr. Barrera was saying, this was done in consultation with McAllen ISD for about 2 or 3 years. This is going back 2 or 3 years.
Will there be a U-turn at that light to allow any traffic to go back Ware Road?
It's wide enough to accommodate a U-turn. Basically, the typical section that you're going to see for this section is exactly what we have south of mile 3.
Okay.
We're just extending that typical section up to Mile 5. It'll be exactly the same way.
Perfect.
Yeah, with Hendricks there, and I mean, it's going to
Hendricks, same way.
Exactly.
But the thing with Hendricks, it doesn't really affect it too much. That property's still pretty far.
I don't know if you know any of the other details, but there's also going to be some sound walls in some of the areas.
What is that, sir?
Sound walls to help protect the noise, from the noise into the subdivisions.
Those concrete barriers?
Yes, sir.
Usually about, what, 20 feet?
14 feet high. I think Rudy knows more about that.
Yeah, those are only going to be at the areas where, like what Fred said, at the subdivisions where they're affected. You know, they did a study, and depending on how many decibels that they found that was going to be impacting those subdivisions, they're going to be placing them. We already had workshops. We already met with the people that are affected. And right now, we're going to be having a noise wall from the area of Flamingo to Gull, that neighborhood. We're also going to have another one all the way in Thunderbird and Umar in that area as well on the left side. So those are basically like 5 subdivisions that we're going to be getting that.
And this doesn't really affect Hendricks if you're coming to Ware Road because you can't turn left anyway as it is. So
exactly.
Yeah. Good.
And so far on the acquisition end, we're probably about halfway through. And pretty much most of the people are on board with the project. I think they realize, how bad the traffic is.
Yes, sir.
I don't really travel there.
It's horrible.
I just hear the horror story.
It's horrible.
So we just, I think they appreciate that it's time.
Yes, sir.
Can we go back to the Fossum slide?
Yes, sir.
The 645 feet that you're looking at there, are we going to be able to get a sound wall there? I mean, because that's part of where the kids are still running their PE and doing that sort of activity. I would hate for somebody to be texting and driving or something and driving and plow into where our kids could potentially be.
Unfortunately, I don't think you'll be able to get a wall there because it has to follow certain criterias, and one of the criterias, well, it has to be like a subdivision. I can't really speak for them. The environmental section work, does that study, so I'm not really, I can't really speak for them, I guess.
So we can't put a preventative measure in place for our kids that might be on the field practicing, running, doing what they do during the physical education
As
hours.
in putting like a physical wall there?
The fence is there. Yeah. Because you're coming up to the fence line, correct?
Yes.
I know our coaches use the fence line to run that area.
The Big O's.
I'm not aware of any projects that we have done in the past that we do like a physical wall like that just for that, like for safety or anything like that. It's always, that I've been aware of, it's just been like for noise walls and stuff like the retaining wall, of course, but that's because of the, when you dig into something, you have to put a wall on there.
Right.
But a wall like that, I've never heard of.
I appreciate the
projects.
conversation. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. We got, the motion before us is whether the Board of Trustees are agreeing to sell these 2 parcels of land totaling $87,789 to give the right-of-way. So that, basically we're determining there's a surplus real property generally described as property for the following locations. And that is those narrow strips that we're talking about. So any further discussion on that or any questions on that to help us arrive at a decision?
Well, and I hadn't really thought about it to Mr. Fonina's point, because I am concerned because that second field is used a lot by the kids. So I guess if by some chance we didn't approve this, would it delay you where you're at, just so we can discuss our options with you, Dr. Barrera, to see if there's something we can put there? Because it is 55 miles an hour. It's a little different than Roe and Hendricks because they're set back. But we are going to have kids right around that fence running. I know that.
Well, how much time do you need for a decision to come from the board? You're saying 2017 is when you're likely to start it. So we have time if we took no action.
But I advise that we don't take that long because this project has the capacity or the probability that if they can require the right-of-way soon, it could let sooner. So,
I see.
So that's the idea. We have it July 2017, but if we acquire the right-of-way sooner, then we would like to let it sooner.
Could we, is 30 days of a concern to you? If we take no action and allow 30 days for the administration to come up with a recommendation as what they would do with that field that our children are using next to a roadway that's going 55 miles an hour with no barrier?
It's 55, right?
Is it that fast, really?
45.
No, it's 55.
Yeah, it's a 55.
That being said, also, I know a lot of times TxDOT likes to say that, you know, what they're building there, what they're putting there is a lot safer than what's there right now, just because of a lack of room to maneuver, right? A lot of times I encounter people who are against it because they're going to say, well, now you're going to have a highway where people are going to be speeding and dragging left and right, so it's going to be more dangerous. Well, I think, you know, Rudy will agree with me that when you build a better facility, number one, it's safety. That's why they're building this, is to make it, that whole area safer, ¿verdad? Because you're going to have a curb. Usually the road is built down a little bit, so you have to go up, you know, and of course you have maneuverability on both sides, right? You have 3 lanes to maneuver as opposed to one and a shoulder and a ditch, which will throw you into, you know, so I'm just saying, keep that in mind.
I totally understand and appreciate that, but there was something on the news where a car did 8 flips after it hit a curb. And, you know, if you look at where you're asking us to sell you, 8 flips puts it right in the center of our football field there at the middle school. And if it's during practice, you know, and I totally understand that you guys, this isn't for the safety involved, because getting out of Fossum, I drop off at Fossum every morning. And, you know, you're playing that old video game, Frogger, where you're looking to the left and you're looking to the right, trying to cross to get onto the road. I totally understand that. But I think, you know, as quickly as we want to make the decision to sell the land, I think we need to take into consideration that there's going to be kids that are going to be in that area, and a careless driver, albeit you're going to have 3 lanes on which you can maneuver, could somehow end up hitting one of our children. It's the freakiest of things, but I think we need to look at it from that perspective, and I seconded the motion so that we could get to this discussion.
Fair enough. Do you want to withdraw the motion, Mr. Alvarado, and your second, Trustee Farina, and take no action at this time?
I think so.
Direction?
The only comment for me, that this is a little different than any other. I can't think of any other school in McAllen ISD that's close to a major intersection like this, that kids are close by. Kathy, Rowe, there's no one that close, and we do use it. Our track meets are held right at that fence. I mean, we have no choice. We only have 2 fields there. So that's my only concern, too, is just to see if, working with Dr. Barrera, to see if there's anything we can put there. So I'm going to withdraw.
All right, we have a withdrawal of the motion. Trustee Farina, do you want to now take the motion or withdraw your second?
I will withdraw my second, sir.
So we have no motion at this time on this item. A directive from what I'm getting from the board is to Dr. Gonzalez is to look at options and variables as to what to do in relationship to that field that's adjacent to the right-of-way that they're wishing to acquire for expanding the roadway.
And Mr. President, if they come back, that will obviously move them up. We don't want them waiting like they did this time. So appreciate y'all coming out.
No problem.
And with that directive, then we're looking at about a 30-day coming back to the board on an agenda item. Is that about fair?
Yeah.
As a directive?
Sure.
And just to give you a little example of how it works is that generally, when you approve the resolution, then generally, you know, they'll prepare the closing documents at the title company. Then whoever you authorize to execute the documents will go ahead and do that. And then what we'll turn around and do at LNG is submit that to the county, to the precinct number 4. And then 4 turns it into the auditors. So that still gives you, you know, a month, 45 days before there's any checks or anything.
I hear you. And of course, all of this is going to be reviewed by our legal counsel anyway. Do we have copies of this agreement yet, Dr.?
We have an attachment. The resolution is attached.
The resolution only.
All right. I'm only seeing a resolution. I'm not seeing a contract. So is there any way we can get the actual contract?
There actually won't be a contract in this deal. The resolution will set, you already got the appraisal. TxDOT's agreed to the appraisal, so that the price is agreed to.
Okay.
So the only thing that will come next, it'll go to the title company. As the gentleman stated, the title company will prepare the documents. It'll go to precinct 4, and then the county will issue a check to the school district.
To the title company.
To the title company. and then the title company will send the check to you once you've signed the deed and the closing statement that you send to the title company.
And it's the county that will replat that piece of land and then train.
Well, they won't necessarily replat it. They're just a conduit for TxDOT to acquire the property. And then without going into a lot of other detail, the county gets reimbursed by TxDOT for the property.
Okay. Just to clarify what Mr. Crane was saying is that what happens with the closing documents is that in there is going to be the deed, and then you're going to have the HUD and a bunch of other title company documents that they require, but they will hold it in their possession. Right. Even though the deed's been signed, and they're in charge of getting that check to make sure that, nothing happens that nobody wants to happen.
Right. So there's no question, no challenge, no issue that arises, and at that time, the proceeds will be released by the title company.
Yeah, after a month, yeah. That's pretty much.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from the board?
Mr. President, Board members, the only thing I'll clarify just for illumination is the resolution in effect in this case is the contract.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Adana. Mr. Garza, we should have something in about 30 days, and I guess Dr. Gonzalez or his designee will be in touch.
Can I also make a comment? I want to say thanks to Lorena Garcia and Mr. Barrera, and I believe Mr. Trevino helped us out too, right, originally? They've been very prompt and very courteous, which has helped a lot in this because, a lot of times people will say and hold off, but in this case, everything's done very, very cleanly, very smoothly.
Now you're making me feel bad.
And we'll be as prompt as well once these items pertaining to our use of our school with our children in close proximity. Once that's discussed with our superintendent, we can then proceed. Mr. Suarez. Trustee Suarez. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
you.
you.
Have a nice evening. 9C2, approval request for proposal 2016-010, branding rights for McAllen ISD high school's athletic uniforms. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district athletic department would like to brand the 3 high schools for their game day uniforms for the following sports: football, girls and boys basketball, softball, and baseball. And we are requesting approval for this item this evening.
Items before the board, would say you? Do I have a motion or a question, comment?
I have a question.
Okay. Trustee Farina.
Can you go into further detail about the branding?
Certainly. This all started with a conversation with our coaches and coordinators, and what they were trying to do is pool their dollars to get, to be a little more efficient. And so what they were looking at is a branding idea of for our varsity teams to be, in particular, our varsity football, boys and girls basketball, girls softball, and boys baseball would be head to toe with one branded manufacturer. That being the case, it was prepared. The district invited 677 vendors to submit their proposals. 9 of them responded. 1 was a no bid. The evaluation committee looked at it very closely. We had Coach Gonzalez, Paula with us, and Mrs. Alejandra Gonzalez as well. We also in the group was all of the high school coordinators there for those varsity teams. That was tallied. We have our best in offer here, and we're proposing this contract this evening to go ahead and go with Under Armour, which ended up giving us a 40% and a very good delivery turnaround time, 2 to 3 weeks, and it worked out that way, and that's what we're bringing forth.
So the request is to make our football, boys and girls basketball, girls softball, and boys baseball Under Armour programs.
Yes, sir, that's correct, with the option as well to expand this into other teams, sub-varsity perhaps, and other events or other areas, and we have that option too. We also wanted to be real careful about how this came together and the contract that was drawn up. We do have the option to opt out if we want to. Okay. It's a 3-year contract, multiple year, like what we were talking about earlier, and how that works, and we can renew that.
Renewed every year, right?
You okay with that, Trevor?
Well, not if everything's going right, we wouldn't bring it, but if it was,
there's a reason. We'll talk.
Yeah. And so we've got those things going on too. The contract's been reviewed by our school attorney, so we feel like we've got a pretty good.
It's got the blessing.
All right,
I'm sorry, Trustee Swett?
Dr. Bennett, I want to clarify something. The contract is to brand Under Armour, but our contract is not with Under Armour. Our contract is with a vendor that sells Under Armour.
That is correct, yes.
Now, my question is, can I buy Under Armour from another vendor and get the same savings?
We are, you know what, can you help me with that?
No, the reason we went out for bid was to select one company, and the Under Armour manufacturer does not bid directly with school districts. They choose their reseller channels to provide the bids. So we had to contract with a reseller. But since we've already determined that this is a bidding category, we cannot go back and purchase from another contractor because we have a contract assigned to that specific commodity.
So it'd be the same like if we're bidding Chevy and Ford, we're not buying them directly from Ford, we're buying them from Bogus Ford.
A local dealer, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the event that we see, and Mr. Crane, have you reviewed the contract?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and in that contract, what are the outs? Just 30 days in advance?
We do have a 30-day termination clause.
Okay, in that 30-day termination clause, do we have to reimburse the savings that we're getting annually?
As I recall, you would not get those savings if you terminate the contract.
Right, so this year we get them. We order all the Under Armour equipment. We get our $7,000 of savings, and then we say 30 days later, thank you, but we didn't like your contract. Do we have to reimburse the savings?
I don't think there's any, as I recall, there's no reimbursement on that contract. I can review it, but I don't recall any reimbursement.
I didn't see a reimbursement for that,
Yeah,
for
we
what
see
we
it.
say,
That's what-
because we've already incurred the,
Okay, so I would like to so move on the motion.
so we have a motion by Trustee Suarez. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Trustee Farina. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I still have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir, Trustee Alvarado.
On the information, there's no representation from MACI. Was that just an oversight?
Yes, sir, it is an oversight.
Coach Brewer and those coaches are on board?
Yes.
As far as and I understand the shirts that we're trying to purchase will be cheaper or less expensive, going with a
Same quality, less cost.
Right. The shirt that goes underneath the football pads, the shirts that they use for practice, are they required to be Under Armour as well?
It's game day. Currently, it's game day attire.
I'll ask Paula to come. Paula, please come forward.
Well, you move pretty fast, Mr. Miller.
Get out.
He dropped and rolled real quick to that chair.
Currently, what we're speaking about is game day attire, which means something that would be used as a uniform as opposed to practice. Of course, when you talk to Under Armour, the idea is to have us purchase our practice gear also. But this itself is for game day. Game day, anything from head to toe. Like, for example, in football, it doesn't include a helmet because Under Armour does not sell a helmet, so we go through Rydell. So anything that they do purchase, eventually the idea is to phase in the different sports. Another example, we did include volleyball in there. For example, right now, Under Armour does not have a volleyball shoe, so they would allow the volleyball programs to purchase a shoe from another company.
Okay. And when you're talking game day, does that include the coaches as well? Do they have to wear Under Armour gear?
Game day is head to toe, and it includes really the team. But the idea with the incentives is to allow the opportunity for the coaches to also wear the attire. The idea is to brand, and part of the branding would be to spread the use of their product.
And Coach, I don't know how it works, but is there discounts for the coaches currently as it is, or they can?
Currently, in regards to our equipment budget, we do not allow our coaches to purchase any of the equipment from there. The idea between the branding is that anything off the catalog, there's a 40% discount, and any type of footwear, there's a 35% discount. Then the incentive would be a $7,500 incentive per year, And then the athletic department would get a $1,500 incentive per year. Anything that you purchase with that incentive money does not also include that 40% off the catalog.
So you get
It would be face value.
$500 from Memorial. They're going to divide that up by all the sports start participating?
And currently, yes, and also with the coaching staff.
And that probably is not a whole lot of money, so
It's not really an immense, it's not something where we could say we are going to purchase a whole set of uniforms or something like that.
Okay. As far as...
But it is a great incentive in regards to the $7,500 as a district. It's about $24,000.
Does it include also administration, school board when we attend events?
Absolutely.
No. Are they requiring for us to?
No.
No, that's just if we want.
And they do, like I say, their idea, their objective is to phase it.
The Under Armour throughout the state, they go into that type of pizza stuff.
They also provide a discount for any other department that would want to purchase a shirt, for example, our food services, our FF&O, any other department. There is also a discount offered for that.
And it's my understanding that through Barcelona, that if a booster club, Memorial Booster Club football wants to work with them, that they can?
Yes, they can.
Yes.
Okay.
And also other extracurricular organizations, the FFA, DECA, Auto Tech also has the option.
Now, no one's ever going to be on board with any, with all decisions, and we go to consensus and we move on. But what were some of the dissenting views of going with Under Armour?
I think when we put it up for discussion and you look at the different programs, there are some programs that have invested in some of the other brands. In other words, if we can speak about it, some have more Nike uniforms than other programs. That was one of the items of discussion. But I think there's two sides. It was always going to be, that was the idea, we were not 100% in regards to one of the brands. That was one. Other programs kind of lend itself to different companies. For example, in soccer, you see a lot of Adidas uniforms as opposed to seeing Adidas in a lot of the other sports. So that was one of the big items of discussion in regards to, I believe that's why we have the phasing in. It gives you an opportunity to phase in. Under Armour, as were all the other companies, were not saying, from year one to year two, you have to go 100% Under Armour. Number one, our budgets aren't as big where you can say, I'm going to go head to toe for all our varsity in 1 year. So they did allow a phase in.
So if a school bought Nike uniforms this past year, so what you're saying is at the normal time, 2-year, 3-year window, that's when they have to go to Under Armour.
Yes. Anytime a uniform is purchased by one of the teams specified, it has to be an Under Armour purchase.
In the cycle of replacement as we work it through.
And also, I think one thing to keep in mind is that anytime you have a varsity uniform, for example, any one of these sports having a varsity uniform, you're not going to say, well, I'm putting them away and nobody's using them, because we have a procedure where you move it from the varsity to the JV and to the freshman team. So they will be used as they're phased out.
And just a little attitude on this question, Mr. President, but our middle school uniform, or we don't fund you enough. So that's just my opinion, because a lot of the schools have to run in their PE clothes, track, cross country, which, I don't understand. So will this have an impact for these programs in our middle schools down the road? As of now,
The phase-in is for the varsity sports. That's the way that it's set up right now. And it doesn't mean that it can't be an overall, like they say head to toe, that it can't be a top to bottom. In other words, going from the varsity all the way to the middle schools.
That's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you, Trustee Alvarado. Any other comments from the board? And as I'm looking at the documentation, you invited 677 vendors, and 9 vendors responded.
Correct.
And then your committee, which was made up of the athletic coordinators from the various schools, high schools, participated in making a decision around June the 8th, 2016, recently.
Correct.
Now, what is your time frame for phasing in to the various schools.
And I think that has to do with the budget planning in regards to each head coach, and I think that could be different right now at each one of the high schools, but I think the question comes to be is when did I purchase my game uniforms, and what have I allotted my budget for in regards to this year? You know, you could have one of these programs that's ready to purchase the uniforms this year, and someone that could say, you know, I just purchased my varsity uniform next year, so I'll continue to use them, and I'll use my budget the way that I have it right now for other equipment. So it would be actually a phase-in with all the high schools, and it could be planned a little different between the high schools and the different sports.
But at this point, do you have any way of knowing what that phase-in might be? Is it 3 years, 5 years for, let's say, the football, and maybe 3 years for the other girls' sport, volleyball? What do you know as far as the time frame for phasing in?
I think the sports that we picked that were selected right now are pretty much the team sports, and I think from there will come a phase in. I believe the only other team sport that we don't have as listed is volleyball. So I think from that would come our individual sports, and I think that might be a little bit easier phase in, like for example with golf and with swimming and tennis, because the groups aren't as big as for example our football and our soccer teams. Those are fairly large too.
So I get it now. You're going to phase it in
Yes.
depending on where they are, but also the size.
Right, and actually there are some sports that are probably ready, even though they're not included, to purchase some of that Under Armour equipment if they're ready to purchase some game gear.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Any other comments?
Last question, Ms. Garcia, is this the savings for the district?
Yes, sir, it is.
What are we talking about?
Well, we're saving on the purchase of with the discount program.
Ballpark, I'm sorry.
I do not have a ballpark figure on that.
20,000?
Well, when you purchase it, I think it's important to note that catalog discounts, we already receive some of them. It's not like when I go purchase Nike or purchase Under Armour uniforms and you have your catalog, we as a school district don't pay that full price. So some of that discount, we've already received it. But 40% if you go with a uniform, that's $200 top and bottom, you're talking about an $80 savings per set. So it's a pretty big savings, except that I do want to note that we already received savings. It's not like we're going from buying full value into now getting that 40% discount.
I was going to ask you, with the savings, could you buy middle school uniforms? That's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you. So, Trustee
Good idea, sir.
I'll yield to Mr.
What do we get now in discount?
I believe that some of them pretty much offer your 35% and 40%. They're similar, except there's no incentives as listed right now.
So it's, puts my math real quick, less than $10,000 per saving? Is that right? No. About 5%, about $40. How much is it per uniform then?
And I know that we have a
60.
chart.
You're saving less than $10 a uniform.
We set up a chart.
We did part of the research was that we wanted to make sure that the uniforms that we were buying were, as we looked across the different brand names, and what the pricing was. What this chart shows us is that the uniforms, they all run pretty consistent. And when you look at Under Armour versus Nike versus Adidas, and then you can see that they're very comparable in pricing. The big advantage to what we've done here is we've gone with that 35 and 40% discount, and we're already receiving somewhat of a discount, but this kind of puts it over, and then the big advantage came with the incentives that were made available for each of the sports.
One of the big things we didn't want to say is we're getting a 40% discount, but the uniforms cost a greater percentage higher. Yeah. And if you look, a lot of the prices are fairly similar in regards to game uniforms.
Mr. Ellis, that was the floor.
I'm good.
All right, Mr. Suarez, Trustee Suarez.
You know, the only advantage that I see in this is that as a district, we all look uniform in the sense that, you know, Memorial, Mackay, and Roll will all have the same brand. And you know, it's consistency. And And to me, that's important. The thing that I didn't want is to be tied into a contract to where these uniforms got so expensive that, we're tied into this contract, and now we're in a bind. And I know, like this year, McAllen already purchased their new Under Armour football uniform, so they've already purchased them. So they're not up for a new uniform for 3 years. So it's the other two. Now, I had several of discussions with head coaches, and they're all in favor of it. So, it behooves us, and I ask tough questions too, but if this is what they want, and our AD is telling us that it's a good deal, our purchasing department has studied it and has told us this is the way to go, and Dr. Barrera, you're comfortable with it, I think it's the way to go.
I did have a question, if I may, real quick.
Yes, sir, Trustee Vela.
You're going to phase in, so you're not going to buy all the uniforms at one time.
No, sir.
Does the incentive continue constant every year?
Yes, sir. It's 3 years, $7,500 incentive, and then $1,500 for athletic department. The incentive is for the 3 years, each year.
So it's $7,000 a year?
It's more than
$7,500 year one, $7,500 year two, $7,500 year three.
plus the $1,500
Plus the
per
$1,500.
department.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. Again, this is approval request for proposal number 2016-010, branding rights for McAllen ISD High School's athletic uniforms. Proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. The motion passes. Thank you. We'll now proceed to 9C3, approval of revision of previous board agenda, approval of expenditures of bid number 2014-027, automotive repair parts, tires, and related services. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district utilizes this bid to purchase automotive parts, tires, and repair services for all district vehicles. We are requesting that the estimated expenditures be increased to accommodate district needs, and we are requesting action on this item.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. The item is now before the board. What say you?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Suarez, second by Mr. Trustee Farina. Motion by Trustee Suarez, second by Trustee Farina. Any discussion?
The 80,000 increase, which is for the need.
Yes, sir, it is. What we're doing is raising the cap on this first established projected amounts. And this is a 3-year contract that we've been working since 2014, and we're coming to it, and we're seeing that we're going to be a little shy, so that's why we're requesting a little bit more to be able to work
I
through
don't
the
think you
years.
should tell me 3-year contracts, because then I'm going to ask, are we renewing it every year? But is there more vehicles, or just that we underestimated the initial?
It's a combination. This is not, although it's housed over in the Transportation Department, they work on all of the service vehicles throughout the district. And so when we think about FMO, you think about the Child Nutrition Department and warehouse and all those vehicles that go with that, as well as the police department that gets into the repairs. That runs the repairs bills up. We do have a very good fleet of buses that we replace on a regular basis, but we also do have the fleet that is aging and does require repairs.
Any other questions or comment? But in fairness, though, we have been replenishing that fleet. I mean, they're not all where they were even 5 years ago.
We've made huge strides, and the fleet looks really, really sharp. And our newest purchases show that, I mean, those buses are really, really nice. And we're taking better care of the old ones that we have, the aging bus, I should say.
Fair enough. And they're still under a previously approved rotation of these buses over a period of time.
200,000 miles or 10 years, whatever comes first.
Just another question, sir.
Yes,
So we were at 224,000, 2015, then we went up to 250,000, now we're at 310. Am I reading that right? Or
that is
we
right.
went from 225 to 310?
We went
225 to 310.
2014 to 2015, 224,000, and then 2015 to 16, we went to 250,000. And for this remaining year, asking to go, for 2016, we're asking to go to 310.
So where do you think we're going to be in this? Because I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, we should know how many vehicles we have and when their tires are. It just seems like it's a little bit of a high spike. I can understand 8,000-10,000 a blowout or what have you, but is 310 now going to be our new standard?
Well, we'll just have to play it by ear and see where we go. We need a better handle. I think we do have a very good handle on our inventories and what the age of our fleet district-wide.
Because we're not growing students, so I don't think we purchase new vehicles or buses, so I'm kind of, I would think we'd actually go down. But, okay, that's fine. I have no more questions.
All right, thank you, Trustee Alano. Any other questions? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. We have a motion. Again, this is item 9C3, approval of revision of previously board agenda item. This is regarding automotive repair parts, tires, related services under bid number 2014-027. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries. 9C4, approval of child nutrition adult visitor meal pricing. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Each year, the Texas Department of Agriculture requires board approval for cafeteria meal pricing, and this year pricing for meals will be slightly more than last year, 50 cents more, and we're in compliance with the TDA paid equity requirements, and we are requesting action on this item.
Item before the board, what say you?
So moved.
It's been moved by Trustee Alvarado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Forina. Any discussion?
I'm going to assume that the increase in price is because of the increase in
Commodities that was recommended by the TDA, and that we're also following what a lot of the other districts around us are doing. They're going up 50 cents.
Any other questions? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries. 9.5, approval of purchase number 2016-039, produce for food and nutrition services. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The Child Nutrition Department purchases produce for district-wide using weekly quotes to ensure the best value, and we are requesting action on this item.
And before the board, what say you?
I move that the Board of Trustees approve the purchase number 2016-039 produce for food and nutritional services with the vendors on attached list for a term of 3 years using budgeted funds.
This is a motion by Trustee Alvarado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Forina. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay.
Mr. President, I would officially like to abstain from this.
Okay. The motion carries 4-0 with one abstention. Trustee Suarez abstained on this action, so it was four votes for the motion, 0 against, and 1 abstention. Thank you. We'll now proceed to... Thank you, Dr. Barrera. 9D, business operation items. We're going to see it. This is 9D1, approval of McAllen Independent School District July budget amendment for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016 and ending June 30th, 2017. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. We are seeking approval for the July 16 budget amendment for the 2016-2017 school year. We are requesting action on this item.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Alvarado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Forina. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 4-0. Item 9D2, action had previously been taken upon that when the agenda was reorganized, and that was before we began with item 9. We now proceed to 9D3, approval resolution approving independent source for investment training and designation of investment officers. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The resolution names the district's investment officers as well as the list of independent sources who provide investment officer training, and we are requesting action on this item.
What say you, board?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Fonina. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Trustee Alvarado, second. Do I have any discussion? Proceed to a vote. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carries 4-0.
Sorry.
That's all right. 9D, 4, approval resolution adopting authorized broker-dealer list. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The Public Funds Investment Act governs local government investment and requires the Board of Trustees or its designated investment committee no less than annually to review, revise, and adopt a list of qualified broker/dealers authorized to engage in investment transactions, and we are requesting action on this item.
Item before the board, what say you?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Alvarado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Farina. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Proceed to 9D5. Approval of sole source purchase of number 2016-027. Postage for Pitney Bowes mail system, Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. The district purchases postage for district outgoing mail at no markup from the U.S. Postage Service rates, and we are requesting action on this item.
Mail, M-A-I-L.
Thank you for the clarification. It's so moved.
Sure. So moved by trustee Alvarado. Do I have a second? Do I have a second by trustee Farina. Any discussion?
Yes, Ms. Garcia, just a question. If they're selling us the same price as the post office, how are they making money?
They're not. They're making money on the equipment. We lease the equipment from them, the postage meter.
So they are making money?
Well, not off of the postage.
But off the equipment?
Off of the equipment. That's a separate lease.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to a vote. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries. Thank you. Now proceed to 9E, superintendent's item, update on activities. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, I did want to take this opportunity to thank all the staff in the district. Everybody's been working hard. We have teachers that were trained at iPad Palooza, and it was over 600 educators that went over to Mac High and really put time and effort into increasing their skill set. We had tremendous world-class presenters. We had all types of technology being shared, so we're confident that the training that iPad Palooza gave our teachers is going to have a positive impact on the classroom, so that was something that was a great victory for us. Also, the new teacher orientation, we got some great hires. We're fortunate to have a very, very strong new teacher orientation, and I do want to thank the board for being there. We appreciate you all being there for us, and I know that our new teachers and staff also appreciated you all being there for us as well. So Hendricks was a great host, and again, great training. And we're amped about our teachers coming in and they're ready to take care of business. So that was important to us. And also, this last weekend, we had the Games of Texas, and I know that all of y'all went by to check it out, so that was great for our community and for our school district, and we had a bunch of our students participating. So that was great for them to compete with athletes from around the state. And it was also great for people from around the state to come down to our beautiful city and make the trek down here and learn about the Rio Grande Valley and what McAllen has to offer. So we do have a short video that will highlight all three events.
So the fact that you guys are spending the next 2 days inside, in classrooms, learning to then better your students or the kids you interact with shows it that you're not here to be average, you're here to be awesome.
This is our second year with iPad Palooza South Texas. iPad Palooza is part of a group now. It started off in Austin and then expanded to South Texas. There's Oklahoma, there's Minnesota, there's Indiana, and now Australia. So it's great to have other people from all over the world that kind of have that same mission to provide a quality type professional development where teachers have exposure to different types of technology and how they can integrate that technology into the classroom. We have presentations that are covered. A lot of them will have integrating iPad technology inside the classroom, so it might be using certain apps like Explain Everything and how you can get student background information on how they process information using an app like that. Or it might be that they're learning how to use Google Classroom. So we've got all of iOS platforms being shared. We've got Microsoft Office 365 platform being shared, and of course Google being shared.
It's really powerful to come into an event like this. Everything that I've seen so far this morning is about building people and about building relationships with kids, and that's what I do day in and day out.
As an educator, I'm always looking for new ideas to try to get my kids to want to learn in the classroom. And using technology and incorporating that in the classroom is one way that I know as an educator I can get and pull from those kids. And so iPad Palooza has so many different ways and different skills from teachers who use technology in the classroom to do this. And so learning from them is what this is all about.
I love how you incorporate technology into your classroom. You are so tech savvy.
Good morning, everyone. You guys look wonderful and rested and ready for a great school year. So I do want to thank all the teachers in the room for making McAllen ISD your district of choice. Thank you very, very much. Whether you're a brand new teacher or whether you have 2 or 3 years or 5 years or 10 or 20, we appreciate you joining our family because at the end of the day, great schools have great teachers.
I'm really nervous, but it feels awesome. I've waited, I've worked with De Leon for 3 years. This will be the start of my 4th year at De Leon. So it's amazing now that I'm actually going to be a teacher there because I started out in the front office. So it's really amazing.
It's a mixture of emotions, excited, nervous, and happy to be part of a great school and a great environment.
I expect everyone to be excited for a new school year, to be motivated to succeed, and for the parents to be very involved as well in their children's education.
I'm excited. I really am. I can't wait. I can't wait to meet the kids. I can't wait to meet the staff.
Like our students, who are all capable of being champions, both in and out of the classroom, they need that special someone to believe in them and to be there to support them. Well, that special someone is you. You have accepted the challenge and the journey you will have to make champions of your students. But first, you must be a champion. And so what's going to make you a champion? Well, being a facilitator, a motivator, a supporter, basically being a teacher who truly cares about your students' success will make you a champion.
Lots of learning for the students. Student center, it's all about student center. It's all about them.
Very hands-on, keeping them excited, eager to keep learning, to instill that drive to come to school and love learning.
I'm biased because I came here, and but I had a great learning experience, and that's the only reason why I wanted to come back, because I had amazing teachers, I went to a great school, and so I want to give back now.
The Games of Texas Track and Field Meet held at Fred's Pharmacy Field and McAllen Veterans Memorial Stadium this past weekend was a great event. It was a pleasure for the McAllen Independent School District to host a state meet together with the City of McAllen, where elite athletes, their families, fans, and our community got the opportunity to come and support athletes from all across the state of Texas. Everyone was truly excited about the showcase of our phenomenal video scoreboard. It created even more excitement to the meet itself. Many positive comments about how great McAllen Independent School District is and how great it was to come to the city of McAllen.
Set.
And I'd also like to thank Lakeshore Learning Materials for our new teacher orientation. They did provide breakfast and an enormous amount of goodie bags for our new teachers, so our new teachers felt welcome. So thank you to Lakeshore Learning Materials. And I'd also like to mention that our paraprofessional employees and instructional paraprofessionals and secretaries and bookkeepers received a world-class training also with regard to health and wellness and time management and communication skills and such. So we're taking down the people development side of what we do to all employees in the district. So that was exciting. So thank you for the opportunity to present to you all.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. We'll now proceed to item 9F, Board of Trustee items. 9F1 is approval of Board of Education meeting minutes. This will require action on our part if we're ready to have a motion to approve the minutes of special board meeting June 20th, 2016 at 1 p.m. 9F1B is regular board meeting June the 20th, 2016 at 5 p.m. And 9F1C, special board meeting June 20th, 2016 at 6:15 p.m.
So moved.
Been moved by Trustee Suarez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Farina.
You're doing good. I'm sorry. You almost called me doctor. That's pretty good.
That's very good. Excellent. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, 5-0. The meeting minutes for June 20th, the 3 meetings we had have been approved. Now we go to 10, schedule of future meetings. 10A. On August the 22nd, 2016 will be the regular board meeting at 5 p.m. The regular boardroom here in the Administration Building at 2000 North 23rd Street. 10B, on August the 22nd, 2016, there'll be a special board meeting at 6:15 p.m. This is public comment at the boardroom, Administration Building, 2000 North 23rd Street. Item 11, closed session. At this time, there is no need to go into closed session. 12 does not apply, no open session as a result of close. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Suarez. Do I have a second?
You have a second.
We have a second by Trustee Alvarado. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. We are now adjourned at 9:09 is what I see. Is that correct? 9:09. Thank you.